Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Kell Brook, shout out to Errol Spence Jr. May 27th it goes down on Showtime in the US, Sky Sports if you live in the UK. Bramall Lane in Sheffield, where Kell Brook is from. He defends his IBF title. I'm looking forward to it. Now, I just read an interview they did with Kell Brook from where he's from back home, The Star. Link in the description. And he has some interesting things to say. I want to get your guys' opinion and just give some brief thoughts. He says, I have what it takes to become a champion and have what it takes to stay one. And I have been in with some great fighters. He's saying the last time he lost was in Britain in the amateurs, referring to Errol Spence. And when he comes here, he will see a very hostile crowd in my backyard. The thing is that I am more experienced and he has never faced anything like me. He will never have felt the power I have in my shots. He faced in his last two fights an over-the-hill Leonard Bundu, who's 42, and Chris Algieri, who had a very low percentage KO rate and is a 10-stone fighter. Against me, he is up against his hardest puncher. So, I want to know what you guys think about that. I think it's a big test for both of them, to be honest, because I understand what Kell Brook is saying. Okay, you can say Bundu is 42. I still give him credit because the fact of the matter is, Errol Spence, what people say, oh, he doesn't have the big marquee name on his resume. However, those fights that he listed, Bundu and Chris Algieri, are excellent barometer fights, meaning they've been in there with other notable names in or around welterweight division, and we've been able to see those people perform against him. We got to see Keith Thurman go up against Leonard Bundu. He hurt him in the first round, and Bundu was too tricky the rest of the way, and he was never able to stop him, and it went the distance, and he didn't really look great in that fight. That wasn't, I mean, I followed Keith Thurman's whole career, and that wasn't one of his best performances. He even admits he was catching him off guard with the switching of stances, going herky-jerky and from southpaw to righty, vice versa. And at the end of that fight, if you guys go back and watch it, Keith Thurman's face was kind of tattered up. And I don't even remember Bundu even really getting off, but obviously there was some leather and some contact because Keith Thurman's face was pretty marked up. And then Errol Spence went in there in front of 4.6 to 6 million people because the average and the peak on NBC right after the Olympics, and he destroyed Leonard Bundu and knocked him out brutally in the 6th round. So it's a good barometer fight. Same thing with Chris Algieri. You can say he's a 10-stone fighter, 140-pound fighter, but at the end of the day, Algieri comes from a martial arts background. He was a kickboxer. He's always in shape. He's has a master's degree, probably more than one, in nutritional science and whatnot, and he had been in there with Ruslan Provodnikov, who was, and I quote Timothy Bradley because I talked to him a month and a half ago, the video and the interviews on the channel. Bradley said that was his most difficult fight. Chris Algieri beat him. It wasn't by a wide margin, but he survived early scares and a knockdown, and his eye was bad, showed massive heart, and he beat Ruslan Provodnikov, got on his toes, started jabbing and boxing, and he won that fight via split decision. Then he went in with Pacquiao, and he was getting bodied. He got knocked down 6 times. I don't think 6 were full knockdowns, but it was still a gang of knockdowns, and Pacquiao was clearly too much for him. But Pacquiao, with all that, still didn't stop him. Then after that, he fought Amir Khan at the full 147, and he moved up from the catchweight in the Pacquiao fight and coming off a Pacquiao loss, and he gave Amir Khan, an Olympic silver medalist, a very tough fight. He even hurt Khan in that first round with John David Jackson, new trainer, new situation, and I don't think it looked bad. So, I mean, I get what Kell Brook is saying, but at the same time, I don't, because I think even though Errol Spence doesn't have the marquee names, none of that matters now because he's fighting Kell Brook, which is a marquee name, undefeated at welterweight, and I think those guys were good barometer fights, and you could still gain something from that, because if it was so easy to knock Chris Algieri out, then why didn't Pacquiao? Pacquiao has 60+ fights. Why didn't he knock him out? He knocked him down, but why couldn't he finish him? You know what I mean? Tricky southpaw. You were clearly hurting him. Same thing with Amir Khan, didn't knock him out, but he knocked down Luis Collazo 3 times. He didn't even knock down Chris Algieri. And same thing with Ruslan. He hurt him bad, but then Algieri showed tenacity and durability. So I still think there's something to gain. Furthermore, when I look at it, Kell Brook, it's easy for him to say like, oh, you face an over-the-hill Bundu, but Bundu beat the guy you fought since you became a champion, and that's Frankie Gavin, right? Bundu beat Gavin. You know what I mean? So you're saying, oh, Bundu's old and stuff, but he beat a guy you fought after becoming an IBF champion. Furthermore, since becoming the IBF champion, beating Shawn Porter, which we see how good Porter is. I was just at his fight in New York. Shout out to the Porters. They had an excellent game plan. They overwhelmed Berto. The aggression, the headbutts, the body shots, very good body shot. I mean, Shawn Porter showed his mettle. He showed what he brings to the table. He's a top level welterweight. Kell Brook beat him. I give him all the credit. I actually picked Kell Brook to beat Shawn Porter. At the time, people said I was dumb because they hadn't really heard of Kell Brook this side of the pond. And after that, he fought a bunch of guys like Frankie Gavin, Jojo Dan, Kevin Bizier. We knew those guys had no shot. Then you jump up, you gave Golovkin some tough moments, but then you end up getting stopped. So you still lost that fight. So it's not really much of a consolation. You could say you laid the foundation, the blueprint, exposed Golovkin, but you can only say that to a certain amount because he exposed you then, because he knocked you out. You know what I mean? So that's just my thoughts on what Kell Brook says. He's saying he faced the over-the-hill Leonard Bundu, but that over-the-hill Leonard Bundu just a few years ago beat a guy you recently fought and knocked out, which was Frankie Gavin. So we're going to see. I mean, the time for talk is almost over. It's a little bit outside of a month till the fight. I'm anxious to see it. And shout out to whoever wins. May the best man win. If it's Kell Brook, if it's Errol Spence. That's, some of you guys are too emotional when it comes to boxing. I like Kell Brook. I like Errol Spence Jr. I like boxing. So I really, truthfully, at the end of the day, I don't care who wins. I can only go off of when I say that. Some people get it twisted. They say because I have a fight prediction, because I have the stones to pick, to cover boxing, and then still pick a person that I believe will win. It's no offense to the person, no hard feelings. It's just stylistically, based on patterns, based on a variety of plethora of things, I think Errol Spence will beat Kell Brook. That's just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But it's not because I hate Kell Brook. I actually like Kell Brook, and I think aside from Errol Spence, he has a great shot to beat really anybody in the welterweight division. I don't think he would beat Floyd just because Floyd's Floyd, but I don't really have any welterweight beating Floyd. But aside from that, I think he has a great chance against anybody. Keith Thurman, Pacquiao. I just think the stylistic matchup versus Errol Spence may be too much. But the same could be said for Errol Spence. He has never faced anyone, like Kell Brook is saying, the quality of Kell Brook, right? And we'll see what Kell Brook learned. I mean, obviously no one wants to take 2 back-to-back losses. Even Ronda Rousey didn't want to take the second loss. She looked like she was in good shape and trained hard. So, I mean, I'm sure Kell Brook is motivated. Plus, he's going to be at home. So, this is a high-stakes fight. Anybody can really win. It's a 50-50 fight. I have a pick on who I think will win, and I have reasons for that. I might do the 7 reasons. Boxing's so crazy, I don't even know if I'll get a chance to do the 7 reasons. But thank you guys to everybody who donated. I'm going to start doing some giveaways. I'm trying to facilitate some more bodies, so just to give me some time to work. Equipment upgrades, website maintenance, stuff like that. So appreciate everybody who's supported the movement. And May 27th, it goes down Bramall Lane. Link in the description in case you want to read the full interview with the Sheffield, the star. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great fight. It's great for boxing. In 2017, it's been lovely. There's back-to-back-to-back action. We got Anthony Joshua Klitschko. Then after that, you have Canelo Chavez Jr. with the pretty solid Golden Boy card. And then after that, you have Tank Davis defending his IBF against Liam Walsh. And Tank's a new champion, so I think he's the goods. But I still got to see him. In this Liam Walsh, I've been doing more and more research. He sounds more solid than most people would think who have never seen him, right? You have also Gary Russell Jr., who's fighting his mandatory. You have Kell Brook, Spence. This is just all back-to-back-to-back. Great stuff from boxing. I really have no complaints. I like Kell Brook's attitude. I like Errol Spence's attitude. He's saying he's never felt the power in my shots. And that could be true. I mean, Kell Brook is a quality welterweight. He's a top level guy, right? See, I call boxing how I see it, which is, in my opinion, fair. Brook is a damn good fighter, and he's clearly the best name on Spence's resume once it's all said and done. So we'll see what happens. Errol Spence stated he's going to come in about 2 weeks in advance to get adjusted to the weather and acclimate to, you know what I mean, so it doesn't have jet lag. So this should be a good fight. Let me know what you guys think. May 27th, will Errol Spence prevail, or is Kell Brook right and Spence has never felt the power that he has in his shots, and he's never been up against a puncher as hard and just the quality fighter that he is? Drop that in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.